Jordan Davis, good morning.
Hey.
How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on.
I should probably say, where are you? Because I know you're busy touring right now.
I am, but I'm actually at the house right now.
Oh,
so
nice.
we've got a weekend off. So I'm here through Sunday, and then we crank back up on Monday.
Okay, that's what we're super excited about. We want to talk about when you're here in Boston next week. So tell us all about that and what we can expect.
Yeah, this has truly been one of the most fun tours I've had. And I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to y'all. Boston is truly one of our favorite cities to play in. The crowds are always crazy. They've been supporting me for a long time. So I'm always excited to get up there and play a show. But yeah, and especially it being the last weekend of the tour, we're kicking off, in Boston the last weekend. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's been too long, so I'm ready to get back up there.
That's great. And you've got a couple of other New England dates, right?
I do. We do Boston, and then we are in Bangor, and oh man, I'm blanking.
I'm putting you on the spot. You're in our area, though. I think you've got 3 shows.
We're up there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I can only imagine what life is like on tour. What's a typical day like? What I'm getting at is there any time to play when you're in town?
Yeah. We usually don't get started until 3:30, 4 o'clock. So, usually wake up at 8 or 9 o'clock, try to go exercise, work out, do something. And then we usually have, from 10 to 3 to kind of go out and explore. So I'm sure we'll get some time to go see Boston. I love doing like the tours and stuff in cities. So if you have any recommendations on tours that I should do while in Boston, I would love those.
Oh, for sure. I'm so glad that you get a little time to hang out before a show. So is there anything that, I know what the fans love to hear, but is there a song that you in particular look forward to performing at your shows?
Yeah. It's fun for me to go back to some of those earlier records that, we've obviously since Buy Dirt, next thing you know, have put a lot of music out, and those help kind of catapult us into, another level. But that first album had some of my favorite songs off of it. There's a song called Leaving New Orleans that means a lot to me that I wrote about my home state, that we kind of do a whole section of just songs off of that record. So Leaving New Orleans is that song that I really look forward to playing every night.
I was just listening to an interview with the great, legendary Dolly Parton. And what I found so interesting was how she was saying, as a songwriter, she constantly has music in her head. And she said, I'll write it on a napkin. I'll write it on the back of a receipt. Is that how your brain works too? Is it constantly just music like flying around in there and thoughts and ideas?
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of always trying to think of what the next song title can be. I think for me, I get a lot just really talking to people. People speak in song lyrics, and you got to be able to hear it and listen to it, and you just write it down on your phone. Or you get woken up in the middle of the night, you're having a dream, and you have this idea that you just roll over, grab your phone, type it in. 9 times out of 10, those don't work out. You kind of go back to them and you read it and you're like, what was I thinking? That's terrible. But there's been many cases where, Buy Dirt, for example, is something my grandpa used to always say. And I looked down at my phone and saw that one day, and we wrote Buy Dirt. So you kind of got to write them all down, and you can kind of filter through them as you get ready to start writing a record.
Buy Dirt, I feel like, really resonated with your audience. I feel like we all take it and make it our own. I was playing it for my husband last night, and he works in real estate, so he calls himself a dirt dog, and I'm like, this is your song. This is everybody's song. But I feel like that's what's special about your music is it really hits home for a lot of people. We were talking about Dolly. Who were some of your influences throughout your life musically?
I always say I kind of grew up in the era of the burnt CD, so it's all over the board from R&B. I was a huge Usher fan in high school, so But I think that the core of why I started loving songwriting was off of the influences of my dad. Chris Christopherson, John Prine, Jim Croce, some of those just legendary songwriters that, really kind of got me into connecting with a lyric, connecting with a song. So that was the base of it. And then, as you grow up, you start listening to Southern rock and roll. So Tom Petty and Leonard Skinner were some influences that are in there. And even now, people that I've toured with, through college, guys like Dierks Bentley and Eric Church, that I've always loved their music and their songwriting. So it was, those are a few of them, but it's kind of all over the board.
Wow. Some of the greats for sure. Toby Keith, I would imagine, also in the mix there, and you got to participate in the Toby Keith tribute. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. What a special night. When it comes to songwriters, I mean, Toby has cemented himself as one of the best to ever do it. And then as an entertainer and a performer, it was, I mean, Toby Keith's a legend. So to get the phone call to get to play a couple of those songs and honor him with his family there and so many other amazing artists, it was an emotional night, but so cool that we all got to come together and honor a true legend.
So cool. So what's next for you?
Wrapping this tour up next weekend. And truly, I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to y'all. It's we've been looking forward to this weekend. Boston, Guilford, New Hampshire was the one I was missing. And then Bangor. We'll wrap this up. We'll have a weekend off, and then I'm going in to record a new record,
Wow.
hopefully to have it out next week or early next year. So we at least get one weekend off, but we're going to leave it all. We're going to leave it all out there in the Northeast.
I love that. So when the tour is actually over, how do you celebrate? Is that like you're sleeping for a week, or like what does that look like?
Yeah, I wish I had the time to do that. It really is. We'll finish up in Maine on Saturday. I'm doing a halftime show for the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, so I'll be jetting out of Maine really quick. And then on Monday, I'll try to catch up on a little bit of sleep. So have a couple of days off, and then get back onto it on Wednesday. Go in the studio and record some new music. Wow!
So we'll be expecting a whole new album, or what do you be working on?
Yeah, whole new record, trying to get it to come out in February next year. So depending on how well that sleep works, we'll see if we can get it out in February.
I love that. Don't let the grass grow under your feet.
That's it. All
right, well, we can't wait to see you here in Boston. I hope you have a wonderful time, and we'll let everyone know how they can go out and get tickets.
Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Thank you.